First and foremost, I want to give all praise to Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai, double honors to the elders of Great Millstone, and salutation to all y'all coming out howling about his bidding to the marriage. I was gonna get into this. Yesterday, after the Kyle Rittenhouse, the court declared him not guilty. Look what after I made that video, showing a couple of minutes later, they made this. He's getting death threats. The lawyer's getting death threats for letting him leave, right? Kyle Rittenhouse lawyer says he inundated with death threats because they already know that's not a case that he should have won. But Esau's kingdom is how the system was. Kyle Rittenhouse lawyer says he's getting so many death threats he can't use his cell phone. Mark Richards told Insider.com on Saturday he can't count the number of death threats. Nothing. It's too high. These are the defense of the now 18-year-old Rittenhouse, who was found not guilty Friday for shooting three people, two of whom died during a Black Lives Matter protest in August 2020. So he killed three people, and he's found not guilty. And his lawyer's getting death threats. The guy sitting down right there with the bald head. That's his lawyer right there, sitting right next to him. And the call started about 3 weeks ago. Richard said he could fluff off the threat, but the intensity ratcheted up after Rittenhouse acquittal. By the time I left the courthouse yesterday and started answering my phone, the first three calls were death threats, and I just quit answering my phone, Richard said. The attorney tried using his wife's cell phone, but said her number was also targeted by people making death threats. I would love for things to change for people to talk to one another without fighting, but unfortunately I don't see that changing anytime soon, the attorney said. I'm going through my emails. There are threatening emails too, Richard added. Esau talking about fighting. I wish we could talk to one another. Like, man, you're a demon. Esau always want to talk. Esau always want to talk about hate speech, hate this, racist. We gotta abolish this and that. But yet, yeah, you're the one who's causing all of this, right? If you just send him to jail, right? Esau's in the wrong, right? He doesn't, he wouldn't let Esau, but this is his kingdom, right? Now he's getting death threats because he Kyle Rittenhouse. I brought out the scripture before in my last video. Matthew 24:12, because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. The love of many shall wax cold because there's a lot going on that people are not caring. People are getting killed, women are getting raped, trafficked, kidnapped. No one's caring. Everybody's just standing by, just watching. Iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. A lot of people are not. A lot of people are gonna start doing that. Like, people are giving him death threats. I wouldn't be surprised to see someone killed him. You know, everybody got his number. But there were Edomites at the Black Lives Matter protest. That goes back to this Matthew 12:25. And Yahushua knew their thoughts, said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation. Every city or house divided against itself shall not stand. So if you're fighting with your family, you're not gonna stand. That's what happened with the so-called natives. The northern tribe. They would fight over land and territory, and guess what? Esau came through and wiped them all away. Because why? We're too busy fighting amongst ourselves at that time. The natives were fighting against for land and food or whatever, but yet not knowing that we're part of the same. We're all as part of the same household, and not knowing that is they knew that, but they were fighting over land, and Esau came through and wiped them away because they were fighting against themselves when they know they had one enemy, that was Esau, but they were still fighting against themselves. That goes for any kingdom. Moab and Ammon. China's fighting Ammon, but part of the same family. How can your house stand? Now you got Esau fighting against Esau, Black Lives Matter and Antifa versus Proud Boys, right? How are you gonna, you know, white Edomites? There's Edomites and I said white Edomites. I mean there's Edomites and Black Lives Matter fighting against Republicans, right? Even though they could be getting paid off, it's all set up, but at the end of the day, it's still prophecy. Whether it's organic or non-organic or inorganic, no, not natural. Whether they're being paid off or they're doing it out of their own spirit, it's still prophecy, right? Because if you're fighting against your own family, you're not knowing that the nation, I forgot the house of David is being rebuilt. Israel's remembering who we are. Yeah, who we are. Jake is on TikTok talking about Israel. Jake is on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I'm telling you, Jake is everywhere, right? Now, Jake is waking up to who we are. What is he talking to be able to do? We're waking up to our power, Yahweh, Bashem, Yahushai. Right? Esau's too busy fighting each other. Jake complaining about the caves, but yet this is nothing new. I knew this was gonna happen. CNN sporadic protests broke out around, all through Yahweh spirit of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai though. Sporadic protests broke out around the country Friday after a jury in Kenosha, Wisconsin found Kyle Rittenhouse not guilty in the shooting death of two people during protests there last year. In New York, demonstrators shut down the Brooklyn Bridge, and in Portland, Oregon, they forced open a jailgate, prompting the I don't know the speak Multnomah County Sheriff's Office to declare a riot. The crowd, which was described as hostile, launched urine, alcoholic beverages, water bottles, and batteries at deputies during the event. Sheriff's office said in a press release early Saturday morning. The protests were nowhere close to the scope of those in the aftermath of George Floyd's death in summer of 2020, including the one in Kenosha during Rittenhouse was shot two people and wounded another. I don't know what he means that they're nowhere close to the scope of those in the aftermath of George Floyd. So basically, there's a lot of people that was in uproar, or probably too little. Still, some people were clearly upset that Rittenhouse was cleared of all 5 counts against him, including 5-degree intentional homicide, first-degree reckless homicide, attempted first-degree intentional homicide, and 2 counts of first-degree recklessly endangering safety. Rittenhouse claimed self-defense in the shootings. The Portland Police Bureau said that vandals broke the windows of the city's government print shop. Additional vandalism was done to the Justice Center building, the PPB said, and an image released by police showed spray painted graffiti, including the message "All cops are Kyle's." One arrest was made with 5 citations, 17 warnings issued, police said. So, people are in uproar. Violence solved nothing. Yet again, nearly 200 people. Why do Esau always says that? The Portland Police Association issued a statement Saturday saying the city is hurting. Violence solves nothing. Shut up. Shut up. Esau always talking about. If violence solves nothing, right? Explain, according to you, look at this. Ezekiel chapter 35, verse 5. Because thou hast a perpetual hatred and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end. So Esau needs to shut up with that nonsense. But I hate when he says that. Like, the most violent people on the planet Earth want to talk about violence solves nothing. When you kill for the fun of it. Right now, there's a game show with people dying. You got shows like the Saw. You got movies like Saw. You got Belko Experiment. You got what's that other movie that just came? That TV show with the little Chinese people. Um, the game thing on Netflix. But you get the point. Esau been killing people since forever with these man-made diseases, right? Chemtrails in the air, food poisonings, right? Killing off animals and trees, throwing trash into space and the ocean. There's animals eating plastic. But what does this guy say? What he say? Violence solves nothing, he said. Yeah, okay. The most violent people on the planet is a hypocrite. Yet again, nearly 200 people cascaded into our city last night, but bent on violence, chaos, and destruction, read the statement signed by PPA President Sergeant Aaron Shamatz. The Portland Association stands with our community in building a toward a safer city. We cannot suffer the whim of a small riotous mob bent on destruction. Instead, these violent actors must be held accountable. Violent actors. Why would he use the word actor? Damn it. Hold on. I can't like light it up, but you get the point. Instead, these violent actors, see, these people are paid off, or they just get hired, or they just, I don't know, man. It doesn't make sense. Why would you use that? Why would you use that phrase, violent actors? Unless they're paid actors to be violent, that would make perfect sense. Must be held accountable. See, Esau just throwing words. He doesn't care no more. You see, he just being more open and talking about you must get the vaccine. You will be forth. The mayor of Como, I mean Mayor Como, Como, whatever, New York City, saying that you must get vaccinated. We will drag you out your houses and bring you to a camp to get vaccinated. He said that, right? You can look it up. Mayor Como says in New York City speech, you must get vaccinated and we'll drag you into a van. He says that. Now you got here saying violent actors. You got people. Esau is about to just honestly about to just say, "Hey, I'm Esau and I'm ready, but I'm coming down with great wrath." I would not be if Esau just says that. I'm be like, "Oh snap, we're Esau and we're here for our birth." Esau's man. I wouldn't put it past him at this point. Esau just openly, blatantly saying things because he knows his time is short and he thinks that he's gonna fulfill what he always wanted. You know, be like the Most High. The statement added the New York protests began in Brooklyn, then moved over to Brooklyn Bridge into Lower Manhattan. CNN affiliate WABC reported the bridge was closed briefly. So they're closing down bridges, right? People are getting late to their families, work, or whatever because of what happened. The New York Police Department used Twitter to advise people to avoid the Manhattan Brown Bridge and expect closures and delays in the area. Demonstrators in Chicago marched Friday night amid a large police presence. Kyle will kill again. Reject, reject, reject racist vigilante. Workers unite to smash fascism. In Conehocha, about 65 miles to the north on Lake Michigan, things were pretty quiet. CNN Natasha Chin reported their families of Rittenhouse victims were coming to terms with the verdict. We're still in shock. The father of Anthony Huber, one of the victims, told CNN Frederica Whitfield on Saturday. That guy Rittenhouse gets to run free, and he's now a hero, and this is my son right there. This is Anthony. John Huber said, holding up a small urn in a photo of his son, we lost our son, and there's no justice right now for our family, and there's no closure. If one person's life or two person's lives don't matter, then none of our lives matter. Karen swore to the fiance of victim Joseph Rosenbaum told CNN, it feels like the victim's lives don't matter, and I don't think that's acceptable. So Esau, Esau doesn't. You see justice, right? You know. Or I think there's another one. Look at this. 3 hours ago. There- There's nothing more frightening in America today than an angry white man. Esau's losing power. You know. Look at this. Capitol Hill. And get this, second Ezra, chapter 15, verse 16. For there shall be sedition among men, invading one another. They shall not regard the king nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. You know, they're blocking off Jake is looting stores, right? Black Lives Matter. They're blocking bridges. Protests happening, people are setting stuff on fire. So like there's a lot of uproars. You know, people are not gonna be listening anymore. You know, Esau's finished. I'm gonna talk briefly on this. Those are just some of the names for a racial stereotype that has haunted the collective imagination of white America since nation inception. The specter of angry black man has been evoked in politics and popular culture to convince white folks that a big bad black man is coming to get them and their daughters. I've seen viral videos of innocent black men losing their lives because of this stereotype. I watch white people lock their car doors or clutch their purses when men who look like me approach. I've been racially profiled. It's part of the psychological tax you pay for being a black man in America. I don't accept that you are seen by many as public enemy number one. But as I watch these separate trials about white male violence unfold across the U.S. these past weeks, the Crown House trial, the Ahmaud Arbery death trial, and the civil case against organizers of the 2017 Unite the Right rally in Charlottesville, I've come to a sobering conclusion. There's nothing more frightening in America today than an angry white man. So, like, look at this. Look at this. The case has been against. You know, look at this is amazing because like we're just watching how Esau's acting. You know, Capitol Hill, the Kyle Rittenhouse, trial, the Ahmaud Arbery, how he died. You know, Jay, everybody knows Esau's the problem. You know, I'm not suggesting we start profiling white men. The vast majority of white men are no menace to society. Countless white men swallowed their tear gas and brave rubber bullets while marching with demonstrators during last year's protest over the murder of Floyd. They were paid off. But the murder of George Floyd, plenty of white men like Reverend Jane Reed, a white Unitarian minister, died for black people during the civil rights movement. There is nothing inherently violent about white men or any human being. That's a lot. Yeah, Esau's a damn demon. Yeah, keep thinking, Jake. Jake, keep thinking Esau's on their side. Yeah, right. Because he stands with you. You think he's with you, moron. You know, but this shows you that Esau's losing power. And he's finished. You know. I want to end it with that. I want to give all praise to Yahweh, Bashem, Yahushai, double honors to the elders, great millstone. Salutation to all Yakim on the highways and byways. Till next time, Shalom.